Create Your Own Future tour. My name is Ian Borkett, Union Learn Service Manager, and I'll be facilitating today's webinar. I can already see participants are lively this morning and commenting on the chat. Please keep introducing yourselves to each other and keep the chat going throughout the webinar. It's good to see. We also have an Ask a Question button at the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to add some more detailed and specific questions in here, and we'll try and get round to answering all the questions towards the end of today's webinar. We have Yusuf running the technical support for today's session, and I'd like to apologise in advance for any possible issues that may occur with either audio or visual. With broadband capacity still being an issue with so many working from home, these things can happen, and we can assure you that we'll try and sort them out as quickly as they occur. Right, that's the housekeeping done for today's webinar. Now I would like to introduce today's session. Today, Union Learn is absolutely delighted to launch the Create Your Own Future tool. A new tool that's been built around a program of support that will help secure future careers by identifying the transferable skills people have, inspiring, motivating them to gain new skills and to match them to job opportunities and training. The tool was produced in partnership with the developers Saffron Interactive and with funding from Nesta's Career Tech Challenge Fund, which is a partnership between Nesta and the Department for Education. This partnership supports the development of innovative services to help people navigate the changing labour market and learn the skills they need for the future of work. Volunteers from across unions came together to form a focus group which helped inform the programme content. They also reviewed and tested and gave feedback on earlier versions of the tool. The focus group met last week to look at the new design, and we are pleased to share the tool with you today. We are joined today by Nuri Sazan and Ben Broadrib from Saffron Interactive. Nuri is Saffron's director and Ben is the project manager. Welcome to you both. Thanks for joining us on this webinar. Well, I guess that you're all keen to see the new tool in action. So without further ado, I would now like to hand over to Nuri and Ben to start the demonstration. Over to you, Nuri.
Thanks. So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining in some numbers today. Really pleased to see so many of you on this call. I just wanted to say a little bit about ourselves first. I'm going to actually ask Ben, who's been working really hard on bringing this tool together, to just introduce himself a little bit and tell you about his role on the actual programme as well.
Okay, thanks, Nuri. Yes, I'm Ben Broadrib. I'm the project lead and lead instructional designer on the project. So that means essentially thinking about the whole package, so the journey from start to finish, the user experience, and how we're really kind of impacting in a really kind of positive way, and ensuring that the tool is meeting the needs that learners and users need. And really making a difference, particularly at this time. Obviously, we've got a kind of a wide team of developers, of designers, of other instructional designers, quality assurance. So I'm kind of the person who keeps an eye on all of the different things that they are doing, and essentially makes sure that this is the best possible tool that it can be. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work on as well.
So my background before I started leading Saffron was in consulting, and anything to do with people and people services. So I was a partner at KPMG and led the people services business. But I've been leading Saffron now for the last 10 years, and I'm pleased to say that we have been going from strength to strength, and are now one of the top 15 highest performing learning technology providers. I'm just going to now start sharing my screen with you so that we can show you what the background to this tool was, and essentially how we can, just a second, I'm having a few problems getting my screen share. There we go. Can everyone see my screen? Someone's got to say yes.
We can, Nuri.
Thanks. Okay. So to start with, how did it all start? Well, it started, as Ian said, with Career Tech's challenge, obviously with Nesta. And really the challenge was, how do you actually get a stimulating new solution for workers in low paid, insecure work? So how can you actually help the most vulnerable to upskill and retrain online or access information and guidance that helps them find work? So we were up for the challenge. Ian was definitely up for it, and he asked us to partner, which we did. And we put together a really ambitious proposal with us on the technology side, saying we can do something really amazing that's new, that's never been seen before. Obviously, we needed some large numbers, and some of you will know that there was an awful lot of sucking of teeth from Ian when we talked about that, because there was, as part of the challenge, we have to try and encourage 15 hours of learning in less than a 6-month time frame. But we were up for the challenge. We wanted to make the user journey really personal. We wanted there to be motivation through behavioral nudges, reward mechanisms through serious gaming mechanics. And obviously we wanted to build it as quickly as possible so that we could get it out there and to make it valuable for as many people as possible. And then we had an eye in terms of data and making this this whole program something that wasn't a one-off, but something that had longevity. And so, putting in some data analytics within the program so that data could inform how we could make the program even better. So that's how it all started. What then happened was essentially two things. First of all, not only did we win the challenge, but COVID also happened. And what dawned on us at that time was that this was actually an amazing opportunity, an opportunity to really make a difference. And so what that did was make us raise our aspirations even further. And we knew that this not only was not going to be a one-off program, but that it would probably be needed for some time. Because we're Saffron and everything that we do is based on, our interest is understanding how people behave, what motivates them. We looked at the scientific research that underpins how people can actually move from one career to another. And what we found was really the career construction theory. You don't need to know too much about that, but it's essentially understanding a person's vocational or professional personality and understanding how do they find value in work, how does it relate to their life? And also, how can you actually show whether someone can be career adaptable? And obviously, if you can identify what career adaptability means, then you've got a chance of actually cultivating that skill. And we were very keen on being able to do that because in the next few years, when digital disruption hits, we are not going to be in one career for life. We know that that's not the case anymore. But what experts have predicted is that we will all have 10 or more careers. And so making people flexible, giving them lifelong learning was what we wanted to look at underpinning our programme. So this is a much more holistic theory base or focus base, and it means that you are more likely to succeed in escalating that change or creating that change if you can take this kind of approach. And so what we needed to do was understand whether people were concerned about the future. Do they look ahead and plan for what might come next? Can they imagine taking responsibility for their career development so that they could influence and shape it? Do they imagine and explore different scenarios that can open up new possibilities? And confidence, do they believe in themselves and their ability to pursue these goals? Now, these 4 C's, if you like, of concern, control, curiosity, confidence, are still part of Savikas's theory. But there was another one put in by Jenny Brimrose of Warwick University, which was commitment. You know, learning, adapting, changing is hard. So is there a commitment to that programme, to that change? And lastly, one that we very much focus on is capability. We think that you can have all of the above, but if you don't have the capability, and what we mean by that are really the resources to be able to do all of the above things, then again, that lowers the ability for you to be career flexible. So what we looked at in the area of capability was cognitive capacity in particular, and giving essentially the resources to be able to try and motivate people to be career adaptable. So these are the principles that we used in shaping our design. But frankly, those of you who have been dealing with this cohort on a day-to-day basis know this already. So all of our discussions with learners, with Union Learning representatives, with Union Learn, and many, many charities that we spoke to, all of them actually were practicing this in any case. But I wanted to go through really our framework and the design principles that we have employed. And I also wanted to thank the people who have actually helped make this happen. So first and foremost, Union Learn and the Union Learning representatives, they were so generous with their insights and their time, completing focus groups, and not just one, time and time again, questionnaires, one-to-one conversations, prototyping, pilots, and as I say there, rinse and repeat. A really big thank you to all of those people that contributed. And what I feel is that this was made by the people that will use it for the people that will use it. Nesta, obviously, not just by giving us some funding for this programme, but also Liz North, our our project manager on Nesta's side, has been absolutely amazing in the support. We have been tested in terms of designing this program also by LiveWork Studio, who tested our design-based thinking in terms of the way we approach this program. And we've also had Aspire iGen, who have actually done the skills that we've got in the skills tool, the assessment tool, and the matching to job profiles. The Learning and Work Institute, which I know some of you are very familiar with, they are going to evaluate the program and we have a wonderful manager there from Hazel Plank, who has helped us with all of the evaluation principles that we've put into this. And then we've also had TSAP and Simpact, who've been helping us with the marketing of this so that we can get as much reach for this program as possible. And I don't want to actually forget our production team and actors. They were all chosen from our target areas and those where the vulnerable may sit. And I'm happy to say that all of our actors are actually union members of Equity. So that was a really nice touch as well. And lastly, my team. I can't tell you about how much people have had a passion for this program and have put so much time and effort into it. I want to say thank you to my colleagues for being my colleagues, but also for being my therapist, comedians, and definitely friends. Just to give an example of the passion that people have for this program, people have foregone holiday, and one person even cut short his paternity leave. Our senior developer, Madan, actually cut short his paternity leave so that he could help build this program to help people as quickly as possible. So without me talking anymore, I'm going to pass it over to Ben and ask him to show you what did we actually build.
Okay, thank you, Nori. Yeah, so I'll just get straight on and share. So if somebody lets me know as soon as they're able to see, and I'll make sure I can do that. Bear with me one moment because the options that I had previously are no longer showing, which is always fun. I may have to swap out because it's allowing me to show individual tabs rather than the whole window. So I may have to change what I'm sharing at a couple of points, unless Yusuf can come up with a way to solve that. So hopefully you can see.
We can see, Ben.
Okay, so yeah, so when I'm swapping, because I've actually got there just so that I'm able, rather than sort of taking you through the whole journey, which is obviously something that would take a fair amount of time. There is a kind of continuous journey and conversations with the video mentor. I have got it set up so that I can show you each of the different stages. So it may be that when I'm doing that, I may need to swap out to different tabs, I'm afraid, which I was doing previously just on one window, but we will see how we go. So this is the first page that the learner will see, just obviously to let them know whether or not there's somebody. If you're new, you say I'm new here, and then we capture your details. And if you're not, you can enter your email address and continue from where you left off. So the idea is that it's a journey that you'll be able to jump into and jump into and out of as and when you need to. So if you complete part of it, it'll remember your progress and continue. So if I just say I'm new here, it will bring you to the first page that you will see. So this is the course map. So it just gives you an idea of the journey that the learner will be taken on. So the first thing that they are asked to do is to meet their mentor. They're then taken on to a skills assessment, which, as you can see, currently is locked. So they can progress onto that once they've reached that point of the journey. Next, they have their career results. So once they've completed that skills assessment, that gives them their skill, their jobs output and their careers output suggestions based on the skills that they currently have. They're then taken onto their action plan after a further conversation with the video mentor, which is where they're putting together their goals for how they want to achieve the future that they want. And then the fifth part that they will see is the dashboard, which is where all of the different work that they've put together at that point will come together, and they were able to continue working towards that future. We've also got a couple of buttons up here. So this one here takes them to the resources. So as you can see, there are resource links to the National Careers Service, to Union Learn, if they want to learn more about unions, find a union to join. And then we've also got additional support for various agencies and organizations that can support. And these can obviously be that, you know, we can add more and more to these, but these are the ones that we have included in collaboration with Union Learn. So the first thing that they will see, so this is if you haven't completed the course before, all you need to do is just show that you're accepting these terms and conditions. If you're a union member, you can also tick this, and then I will just put in test email address. So you've just put in an email address, and that will then give you the opportunity to log into the course again. It saves your progress, and also the course does send out occasional notifications to your email. So you'll get a notification obviously when you first sign up, but also at various points throughout the program, just to give you an update on your progress, to let you know the most recent things that you've done. And then when you do reach the dashboard, it gives you notifications just of the key things that you've completed. Okay. So the next thing you'll see from that point is the mentor selection page. So just a little bit about our mentors. So the course is kind of very human-centered. So that's why not only have we got actual actors playing these mentors, but we've got 4 different mentors that learners can choose. So these characters came out of the research that we did with the focus groups, with ULRs, and more widely, and finding out the kinds of personalities and the kinds of characters that will really kind of give that sort of human connection to the learners, and help them have somebody who's not just a presenter or somebody who's delivering instructions throughout the course, but somebody that they can hopefully kind of feel a connection with in the way that they would if they were speaking to somebody face to face. That's not to say that this obviously replaces the kind of real world human connection. So the idea is that the mentor is somebody who is there to help them within the program, but they're also directing them to seek support elsewhere. So that might be from union learning representatives, from the National Careers Service. Those kind of signposting to those areas is included in the course all the way through, and also just encouraging them to make sure that they're getting support from friends, from family, from whoever they have. So helping them to develop those kind of skills and those abilities to realize that if they are in a position where they want to change their future, or maybe they've suddenly found themselves in a position where they're either needing to change career, or they're needing a new job, or their circumstances have changed, that they do have those support mechanisms there, but they also have those support mechanisms within the course. So it really is a kind of blended approach of directing people to external support, but also giving them the support within the course. So we do have these 4 profiles, and also if they are not sure who they want to choose, or not sure who the best person is, they can select Help Me Choose, and they're taken to a very quick quiz that asks them questions, and it generates the best response, the best mentor, our recommended mentor based on their circumstances. They don't have to choose that mentor, but if they're having trouble deciding, they can use that. So if I just, and obviously they can actually hear from each of the mentors as well. So for example, if you want to hear what Mike's got
I'm
to
Mike
say.
Green. Nice to meet you. So a little about me. I'm 29 years old, and I'm married with 2 young children. I've been working as a shop assistant since I was 18. When I was made redundant, I thought I'd just walk into another retail job on the high street, but it wasn't that easy.
So yeah, so the idea is that each of these characters has a profile and a backstory, if you like. So we didn't want them to be presenters, we wanted them to be actual characters, and that was emphasized through the casting call when we were looking for who these mentors needed to be. So you can hear a little bit more from Mike, you can hear from one of the other mentors if you want to, or you can just go ahead and choose. So if I choose Mike, it then takes you to the beginning.
Hi there, I'm Mike. Thanks for choosing me as your mentor. I'll be your guide on this journey. So, what should I call you? You can either post a video, record yourself, or type your response.
So yeah, so that gives a nice introduction as well to the way in which we've made this tool accessible. So there are points at which you are just being asked to choose an answer from text on screen, but there are also points throughout where you can record your response. You can either record a video or audio. So yes, if you wanted to record video, you can select the video recording option there, and it actually sends that to the LRS and picks that up. You can record a voice if you just want to record your voice, or you can just do a text input. And there obviously we need. So these are the points at which throughout this first conversation, particularly, we'll be capturing the data from the learner. So rather than getting them to fill out a whole load of forms before they've even started, we capture this data through the conversation with the mentor. So things like where they live, what their current circumstances are, their age, all of that kind of thing that we need for data capture, but also capturing things such as their experience of online learning and how they feel about learning, and if they have any kind of concerns, because we're capturing those things at the start so that we're then able to capture those things through a further conversation with the chatbot at the very end, so further on in the course. So that's triggered essentially by the things that the learner has completed, but also after a set amount of time, so after 12 weeks, that conversation is triggered with the mentor, and then it's triggered again on a regular basis, so that we're continually capturing how learners are feeling and what they're doing. So if I just continue, I'll tell you what, I'll put in my name and you can see. So the conversation with Mike continues.
Nice to meet you. If you're comfortable doing so, tell me what gender you identify as.
Okay, so and then here, so for example, you can see that we've then got the options that can be selected from screen. So what I won't do is I won't go through every single question with Mike, but I'll show you where we go next on the journey. So this may be where I need to stop sharing and start again, I'm afraid, Yusuf, because it's on a separate tab, but we'll see how we go. So if I've changed my tab there, has that changed, or can you still see Mike?
No, we can still see your current one, so you'll need to stop screen sharing and start again, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know why that hasn't happened, because when we tested it prior to the call, it was working perfectly. So we will see. Yeah. Oh, now it's actually given me that option. So hopefully that will now be okay. So let's try again. So hopefully that's a slightly different screen.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So after you've had that first conversation with Mike and he's captured all of that detail, you're then taken on to the skills assessment. So this is the 36 skills cards. And it's essentially you assessing your skills and where you currently feel that you currently are. So you've got the chatbot help here, so you can select the chatbot, the video mentor, and they can give support and answer any questions that the learner might have. And if there's anything that the learner is really struggling with, then they are directed out to union learning representatives, to the National Careers Service to speak through, and also encouraged to speak through with other people to feel like they're not on their own. And there's also functionality in here to make sure that the learner isn't just kind of completing this assessment just by following a set pattern. So if they're selecting the same answer again and again, if they're just sort of using the same pattern, the course will detect that and just give them a little nudge and say, I've noticed that the way that you're completing the skills cards possibly suggests you're not thinking completely about it, obviously in a kind of supportive way, and just ask them whether they want to go back or whether they want to continue. So the functionality here, of course, you've got if the skill is undeveloped, if it's adequate, if they feel competent, or if they feel very competent. So it just simply works very simply like that. We've also got the notes section, which I'll just show here. So there's the ability to add a note all the way through the course, but specifically they can add a note that is linked to these skills cards. So you can either view all of your notes or you can just directly add a note. So there, as you can see, it's linked to that particular skill. They can change that title if they want to. They can add a note, so they might be, I'm someone who finds whatever it might be, something that will help them to go back to those notes and use them later on. And then again, like you say, they can link it to a particular skill. That's if later on they want to do that, and then you can save that, and those notes are saved there for them to find, which will be in the menu here. So once they've done that, they can go back to the skills assessment and continue. So I'll just complete a few more here. So yeah, and as you can see, it's separated up into 3 decks, so they can see that they're making progress and don't feel kind of overwhelmed as well. So if
what can I help you with?
So if they need help, obviously Mike can be there to help them, so they can ask a question, or if they've selected it and they think, actually, do you know what, I'm happy to carry on, they can go back to that skills assessment. So once they've completed their skills assessment and they've completed all 36 skills cards, they're then taken on to their results. So I've completed that previously, just so I'm not going through all 36 cards, but they're taken after a short conversation with the mentor. They're taken to their results section. So here they are given all of, based on their skills that they've inputted, or their skill ratings that they've inputted. This gives them the career recommendations that the course has calculated are kind of most appropriate for them based on their current skills. So any skills that they currently have are highlighted in green, and they can hover even if they want to and see what that particular skill is. So that's any skills that they've rated themselves as competent or very competent, and any skills where they've rated themselves as adequate or undeveloped at the moment are in red. So here they've got an easy way of seeing what skills they currently have and what skills they might need, and how close they are to having the skills needed for that role. If they select a role, it'll then give them a little bit more information, and obviously gives them that detailed information there down the bottom. And then if you click on more information, it actually takes them to the page on the National Career Service website for that. So it gives them a little bit more information. For some reason, the National Career Service, there we go. I was going to say the National Career Service website isn't working for me. So it gives them, obviously, the average salary, gives them all sorts of information, just to help them have all of that information to help them make their decisions. And they can obviously use that website as they need to. All of the different careers that are in the course are sorted, and they can select and go through and have a look at any of these. They can think about what different roles they have and which areas they're particularly interested in. And also they will see the training. So these are the different courses that are included within the course. So these are courses, the SkillsNet courses, which they can choose to look through, and whether or not they are courses that they want to be focusing on completing. And then further down, the Explore Further Career section. So this section, Your Career Matches, are the top ones, or the ones where they have the most amount of skills. And then further down, just to make it slightly easier to separate them up, are are areas where they potentially they need to do a little bit more work, so they need to develop more skills and think a little bit more about whether or not it's a career for them or what they need to do to be able to do that. So, stunt performer, that'd be quite interesting. So if they wanted to, if they want to keep a career or a piece of training, they then have this pin icon. So the idea is, if you go back up here, so it says you haven't selected anything yet, try pinning some items below, and it shows you that they currently haven't pinned anything. So if I go in and pin, they can pin as many as they want, but the idea is that they need to pin at least 2 roles and 2 courses to be able to continue, just so that they've got a couple of ideas to move forwards with, because that will help them when putting together their action plan further on. They're not tied to the mentor is supporting them all the way through. The mentor saying, you're not tied to any of these decisions yet, but this is a useful way of helping you think about what it is you want your future career to be. So if I just pin a couple of these, and then you'll see it says, great, you're ready to move on. So that's now changed, and they can select continue, and also they can see which of the roles that they've actually completed. So if I select continue.
Hey, well done. You should be proud of yourself. Taking in all this new information, it's not easy. Before we move on to the action plan, it would be good to know how you're feeling about your results and the recommended careers. I found it quite surprising when I completed the programme, to be honest. It included lots of careers I'd never considered before. It took me a bit of time to figure out what I wanted to set my goals as. How about you? Start your answer with I feel or I'm feeling.
Okay, so that just gives a good example. So that's one of our other mentors. So I've just tried to give you a selection of different mentors that we've got. So here's another one where they're able to input and essentially kind of record or type however they're feeling, and the mentor is suggesting to them the way in which to express that, because that will then help the natural language processor, which is working in the background, to really pick up the sentiment and the phrases that they are using. Okay, so they then have a further conversation with the mentor that supports them, having looked through their results, and prepares them for putting together their action plan. So again, we've got another one of our mentors here. So I'll just show.
Your action plan is where you'll set yourself goals to make sure you get to where you want to be. It's important to think about what's going to motivate you to complete your goals, as well as anything that might get in the way.
So you can just see there we've got a conversation which is focusing on kind of the barriers and motivators that the learner might be having, and really kind of directing them towards the different things at this point that the course includes, which we'll see a little bit later on in the dashboard, the different courses that are included, but also the core skills courses that we've developed specifically to be included in this program to support them with things like Nori was speaking about, the capability, the fact that people have different demands on their time. They might have family commitments, they might be working multiple jobs, or they might just be finding kind of motivation something that's a little bit tricky, or having the confidence, or feeling like if they haven't done learning for a number of years. So really building up that capability and supporting them with those kind of core skills. Okay, so they have another, following this conversation with the mentor, they're then taken to their action plan. So obviously previously I had completed and put in careers, so the careers and training that I would have pinned previously would be appearing there. This is just because I've opened it as a separate tab on a different path. So here, like it says, the action plan, the idea is that it's really a working document. So it's something that they put together now, but they are then able to return to it as often as they need to and update it, and not think of it as something that they just do once and then complete. It's something where they're adding more goals and using it like an interactive to-do list. So here they can obviously input whatever it is that they want their goal to be. So it might be develop my digital skills. So if they think that's something that's a high priority, they can do that, and the course detects things that are marked as high priority, and if they're ticking those off, then it really, it notifies them and it gives them a milestone for that, which I'll come on to in the dashboard in a moment. It also detects what kind of time frame that they're saying that they're going to do this in. So if they're setting themselves a deadline, it detects whether or not they're sticking to those deadlines, whether they're struggling with those deadlines. And if they are struggling with deadlines, that the mentor doesn't say, it's not telling them off, it's giving them support, and it's saying there are time management courses that are within this course to help you with developing that. So they can say, I will, whatever it might be, so develop my digital skills. And then there's all sorts of different options that are here, including speaking to a union learning representative. So that's something that can help them identify exactly what it is that they're going to do. So it could be, I will start working on the digital skills courses. Okay. And then they can save that, and that goal is then added to their action plan. It tells them how long they've got to complete it, and then what priority it is. Okay, so following on from the action plan, like it says, and one more thing. So obviously it directs them to their notes again, and it also reminds them to be looking through their careers and training that they might want to be, that they put in earlier. So after putting together their action plan, they have another conversation with the mentor just to make sure that they're feeling happy about their action plan, whether they found putting their goals together easy, whether they found it tricky, and just giving them support and making sure that they feel ready to move on to that dashboard, because there are opportunities all the way through to return to their action plan, to return to the results, and even to have a look back at their skills assessment and see whether or not they feel that they've completed it accurately, and whether or not it's really helping them. So they're constantly kind of given these reminders that this is an ongoing journey. It's not something where it's kind of pass or fail or there's wrong answers. It's about them supporting them and giving them that encouragement to develop their capability and think about this as an ongoing learning experience. So once they've done that, they are then taken onto their dashboard. So here you can see, so this is one that I filled out previously. You've got the actions that they put in. They can go straight to their action plan back and tick those off as they go through. They can add new actions. They can add tick them off. They can take any actions off that are no longer relevant, and the course keeps an eye on how they're doing that and making sure that obviously they are ticking goals off and that they're completing the things that they've said that they want to do, and making sure that they're really keeping focused. If when they get to this stage or throughout the course, if they're not logging in, the course will also send them a reminder and just say, just want to make sure that everything's okay. Are you struggling? Have your circumstances changed? So it really does have that kind of personal human touch to feel like they are, getting that support, and it's not just something that they start and don't go back to. And then, like I say, if they are struggling, then they're given that support and they're given that direction to union learning representatives and other channels to make sure that they feel really supported. So they've got their notes as well, which appear. So this is the idea of the dashboard, is that everything comes together. So they've got the notes that they put together. They can go into their notes and change those or add to those and use that really just, like a notepad, but it's keeping it all together. They've got any careers that they've pinned here. They can go back to their results from the dashboard. The milestones will fill in as they complete different things. So when they tick off their first goal on their action plan, when they update their action plan, when they complete any of the internal core skills courses, and various other points too. So they can achieve a badge and they get a notification at that point. And then here they've got the courses that they've pinned. And they've also got these key core skills courses, which is the ones that I mentioned previously. So we've got 6 core skills courses to help them develop those kind of core skills and make sure they're feeling really supported in terms of their capability. So here you can see, so it just opens up and they're able to kind of work through. These courses take about 15 minutes. They're bite-sized courses. And then at the end of the course, they actually can achieve, not only do they get a milestone on their dashboard and they can tick it off as completed on their dashboard, but they also get a certificate, a Create Your Own Future certificate that they can save, and really make sure that they feel kind of that they're achieving things and having something to demonstrate to themselves that they are making progress. So just to give you kind of a flavor of these courses. So again, we've got the mentors here, so it's all kind of incorporated in. So you've got Mike and Alicia, two of our mentors, incorporated into the course as well. So yeah, so we can just see there's a conversation between them, and then there's interactions, and it's building up those skills and kind of really helping them to develop those skills and those develop their ideas of what these different core areas are. And then you've also got the digital skills courses, which are the ones that are housed externally from the course. So for example, improving your math skills launches an external resource that we've included. You've got everyday maths, writing in plain English. So some of these are websites, some of them are printable PDFs, some of them are links out. And then we've also got the Union Learn courses here as well. So that's and then the idea of the dashboard is that it's not the end of the journey. It's the point at which they've completed everything that they need to have in order to continue working through. But then the idea is that it's an ongoing journey, and that's where that sort of 15 hours is going to come in, because the idea is that people will continue working through and use this as something that that will really help them, support them in achieving that future that they want to achieve. But they aren't just kind of left to their own devices at this point either, because obviously when they return to any of those previous pages, they can get the support from the chatbot, from the video mentor, and there's also, like I said, a trigger point once they've completed a certain amount on their action plan, or if they've completed, if it's 12 weeks following their first registration, they're then taken to an evaluation conversation with the mentor. So I've just returned to Mike here. So if I just, so yeah, so they're asked here, what have they focused on mainly? So if they focus on developing their skills.
Great. I've worked on building up my skills too. It gave me a real confidence boost. Developing your skill set will make you more employable as you apply for new roles too. Which skills would you say you focused on the most?
So yeah, so we have this evaluation conversation, which picks up obviously the things that the learner has been focusing on throughout their dashboard and looking through their results and their action plan, but also through returning to some of those questions that they had at the beginning of the course as well. And that's the conversation they have, but it's not the sort of end point. It's not sort of here's the conclusion. This is a conversation that you're having with me because we want to see how you're doing and make sure that you're feeling really, really supported. Okay, and I think that's probably a good point, because I can't see if there's been any questions or comments because I've been sharing my screen. But it's probably a good point to hand back to you, Nori, and we can take any questions, I think.
Thanks. So I am just going to share my screen. We will answer the questions at the end, but we just wanted to let you know about essentially what is next. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
We can see it, Nuri.
Great. So this is going live on the Union Learn website on Monday, but Yusuf and the team, Ian and the team, and Jane will be sending out a link and a mailer. And then what's next is the Learning and Work Institute evaluation, which is in March 2021. And all we want you to do is obviously use it and enjoy it and spread the word. And hopefully we're looking to, obviously, as I said, make the platform better and better. And we also think it will have lots of applications. So at the moment, obviously, it's focused on career adaptability, but it could also be focused on financial resilience, on specific skills or anything, in fact. So we're hoping that there will be upgrades to this and linkages to other topic areas that will affect people, especially through COVID. And so, yeah, happy to discuss questions now. And
that's fabulous. Thanks, Nuri and Ben. That was great. A very interesting insight into the Create Your Own Future tool, and I can see how this tool would be helpful for reps supporting people in the workplace, and particularly those at risk of redundancy. The tool looks fantastic, and a big thank you to everyone at Saffron involved in the project for all the amazing work they've done on this. It really does look fabulous. It's come a long way since the initial ideas and inception that we had, and it looks fabulous. The digital tool will be a tremendous help for workers looking to retrain or change career. We are due to sort of finish at 12 o'clock, and we've had lots. It's pleasing to see we've had lots of questions come in. So I'll try and get through as many as possible. Apologies if we don't manage to get through them all. What we will do is at least maybe email people any sort of questions we weren't able to cover. There's also some briefing sessions that are planned for later this month on the 11th, 18th and the 25th, and that will be an opportunity to find out more about how you use the tool, more about the program, and there will be more opportunity to pick up any sort of specific, more detailed questions and comments that you have as well. So I would definitely encourage you to sign up and register for those briefing sessions. You can do that by going to the Union Learn website and go to the events page. So yeah, this try and take as sort of many questions as we can in sort of the next 10 minutes. I'll just pick up a couple that have been asked in the chat. Somebody asked if this presentation will be available for future reference, and can they get a link of the recording? The recording will be available on Union Learn's YouTube channel. Jane kindly put the link up in the chat. So you will be able to access the recording from there. And Stephen asked if there is a plan to issue a brief explanation of the Create Your Own Future program. As I mentioned, there are briefing sessions planned that will give you more detail and support and explanation about the tool and how you can use that with your learners. Once again, I'll give that a plug. That's going to take place on the 11th, 18th and 25th of November. So please sign up for those briefing sessions. Just another quick one I can deal with. There was a question, is this funded by DFE? This initiative was, as I mentioned in my introduction, was funded from Nesta's Career Tech Challenge Fund, which is a partnership between Nesta and the Department for Employment. Okay, let's just try and pick up a few, and I'll put these to Nuri and Ben. Question in from Stephen about what support is there for the learner should they have IT hiccups. He said we cannot assume that learners are as skilled as you are.
Made it as intuitive as possible. So you know, the fact that people can just launch it through a browser. Appreciate that if they have very modest digital skills, then actually very early on in the journey, which ULRs obviously can support them through, or a friend or relative can support them through, but very early in the user journey, there is actually a link to a digital skills course, so that at the same time as you know, being able to continue on the journey, they are also upskilling at that time. And that digital skills course is a really good basic skills course. telling them everything about, how to do practical things, as well as be able to use a digital platform like this.
Fabulous, great. Thanks for that, Nuri. Moving on to some of the other questions we've got in the question box, we've had a couple from Julie. So if I maybe sort of read these out for everyone. Is there anywhere on this which directs the user to possible funding options? You missed cost as one of your C's. It's all well and good to find something you want to do, but it means a five-year uni or high cost postgraduate course to be able to do it. They are going to need to be directed to funding options, as otherwise the costs to have their new career are going to be prohibitive. And then there's also just a question as well about contacts. We all know that contacts are also one of the most important ways of getting your foot in the door. Are there any networking opportunities with real people?
So to answer the first question around cost, it's actually in my capability C, which is around, do you have the capacity? And that could be financial resource, it could be cognitive resource, it could be any type of resource. Are you able to physically do this journey? And what we've done to try and make it as easy as possible is to make these courses that are on here freely available. So the SkillsNet courses are free. And that gives you a level 1 and a level 2 qualification for free. The other courses that are on there, which are the soft skills courses, bite-sized courses, again, are free. They're part of the platform. That's as much as we can do. In terms of linking out for cost options and the like, we are hoping that the ULRs, because we reference physical people when they can't get on through the digital journey, so this is your networking point as well, and in terms of the interaction with real people, we really do not think that this digital intervention on its own can have the impact if real people are not involved along the journey. So nearly at every single juncture, we are referencing people to go and get physical help from someone else if they're stuck, if they're not able to continue, and if the video bot is not giving them enough support. We fully recognise that this is not, that the digital solution is not the whole of it. And in terms of those, therefore, directing them to proper funding opportunities, we feel that that is something that can be taken up by Union Learn or the Union Learning representatives.
Great, thanks, Nuri. I think we might just be able to manage to squeeze in a couple of final questions before we have to wrap things up. There is a question about will there be a cost to using this? I think that will be fairly a quick one to answer. And there was also a question which I'm sure a number of people will be interested in regarding that. Will it be possible to actually get data from the tool, particularly if ULF continues? Will we be able to get data from it?
So right at the beginning of the tool, when Ben showed you, when you sign up, when an individual signs up, if they consent that their data can be shared with their union, then that will go through the normal mechanisms with Union Learn and all of the other courses. So that data will be available in the normal way from Union Learn.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well, thanks, Nuri. Thanks, Ben. Apologise that a bit rushed with the questions, and we sort of didn't have more time, and so I wasn't able to get to all of them. As I mentioned, those that we haven't, we can certainly answer and email out to you. But also, if you've got more questions, you can either send them into my colleague Jane Warwick at jwarwick@tuc.org.uk, or please, sign up and participate in the briefing sessions that have been arranged for later this month. So yeah, we hope you've found this webinar useful, and we will be adding this to our YouTube channel, so you can watch it again at your leisure, or share it with your colleagues. As I mentioned, Union Learn will be delivering a series of 6 briefings for Union Learning reps and reps. The sessions will be held on the 11th, 18th and 25th of November. You can register to book your place by going to the Union Learn website events page, and you can sign up and register there. So all it leaves me to do now is really say a big thank you to Nuri and Ben for a fascinating presentation, and for officially launching the Create Your Own Future tool. It looks absolutely amazing, and I'm sure it is going to be invaluable to ULRs and the learners that they're working with. Thank you to Yusuf, who's been working behind the scenes, and of course a big thank you to you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us on this webinar. Thank you for taking part, and I hope you will join us again soon on Union Learn's next webinar. Thank you, and have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.